conspiracy theory do you completely believe is true?
In my home city, in the UK, a heroin dealer was convicted of lacing his product with poison and causing the deaths of homeless people. In court he claimed that the local council paid him off to get rid of some of the homeless people in that way. His defense was, why would I kill my customers? I have met one person that worked with the council and believes the story to be true, and years later I met some people that had worked with a homeless charity at the time. They claimed they knew it was the case, but there was nothing they could do to prove it, expose it. That wouldn't even surprise me if that was true. That Britney Spears is either being held hostage or otherwise in a very compromised situation. This has been pretty much confirmed. Something is going on with Bryan Singer. He's been accused of sexual assault multiple times in the past few decades, but nothing ever came of it. Guy was hosting parties with young men, potentially underage boys, and people like Kevin Spacey, and has been accused of molesting children. I'm not one for conspiracies, but he clearly has friends in high places that went to these parties and keep giving him work and burying the allegations when they come up, or he has dirt on them. Seems like more people are finally talking about how shitty he is, but I never understood why these stories didn't get more attention. Disney absolutely believed that Hillary Clinton was going to win the 2016 election, so they started building her animatronic for the Hall of Presidents well in advance, and after Trump pulled off a victory, instead of starting from scratch they just kinda made a couple half-assed adjustments to the Hillary model and put it up on stage. Edit. Thanks for all the awards. I know I'm not the first person to ever notice this, or even the first to post about it on Reddit, but I'm glad I was able to introduce it to so many people. I read this and immediately didn't believe it. Then I saw the picture. Edit. We get it. This comment sounds vaguely like a Smash Mouth song. Please stop retelling the same unfunny joke. College Board isn't non-profit. Every high school student just sighed in understanding. Teachers too. I used to start my app psych class, do you want to pass a test or learn some sweet crap about your brain? Once I knew that the kids who cared about the test, the class was super fun, and I just gave extra test prep to the kids who wanted it. Usually had a handful pass and none of the bullshit teaching to a test. Edit. Obligatory. Holy shit, this blew up. And thanks for awards. I really do appreciate it. For some clarity on, shouldn't they be expected to pass? And shouldn't they be learning what's on the test, as it's important? Yes, absolutely. Here are factors in my situation that impacted that particular class. Title I school. Higher level students would be forced into taking app classes. The actual ability level of my classes was often 4/5S honors level kids and 1/5 app level kids. Forcing the honors level kids into actual app work was incredibly difficult to most, forcing my traumatized students into quitting. Perhaps most importantly, app psych in most states is a year class with a test around 8 MO of learning. In TX, where I taught, it is a semester course. My school had app psych in the spring, meaning my kids tested at month 4 against the rest of the country with twice as much prep time. My 10% that wanted to study/pass almost always did. What movie fucked you straight in your feelings? Fox and the Hound. We'll always be friends forever, won't we? Yeah, forever. How they echo that dialogue from when they were kids at the very end of the movie, after they've grown up and succumbed to their ways as natural enemies. Fuck, that was heartbreaking. Tokyo Story. A black and white, slow-moving, Japanese movie from 1953. Consistently rated as one of the best movies ever made, but you know critics. So I watched it. It was slow-moving, a bit boring. And then the grandma asks her grandson if he's going to become a doctor like his father when he's older. The kid is too busy playing to pay attention to his grandma. At which point the grandma says, I wonder if I'll still be alive by the time you become a doctor. Grandma and grandpa seem really happy, but she lets it slip he used to get very drunk and be abusive. He starts drinking again when they visit their children. The children are too busy taking care of their children to properly care for their parents. So the grandparents are also heartbroken about that, although they keep smiling. The only one who cares for the grandparents is the widow of their middle son, who died during the war. At one point the grandmother says to the widow of her son, "You may be happy while you're still young, but as you become older, you'll find it lonely." To which the woman who's been taking care of the grandparents replies, "I won't get that old, so don't worry." Smiling politely all the way through, even though she's hurting so badly. I spent much of that movie crying. Such a depressingly honest view on what life is often like. Tragic. Honestly, it hit me harder than Grave of the Fireflies or Come and See A Beautiful Mind. My grandpa was schizophrenic, and I never understood it until I watched this movie. Edit. Thank you for not only my first award, but all of these awards. I've got schizophrenia and had started hearing voices a couple years before this came out. I was scared shitless that was how my illness was going to play out. The never-ending story. They look like such strong hands, don't they? Kids movie, my ass. Edit. Jesus, this blew up. Thanks for the stuffs. Additionally, while there are a lot of really sad parts, there's also a lot of wonder and magic. The Southern Oracle and the music that plays there as Atreyu approaches gives me chills every time. Not to mention the almost hymn-like burst of the main theme that erupts when the ivory tower shows up. I'm getting goosebumps now just remembering it. The whole movie is fantasy done right, and I wish there were more movies like it. That scene with the horse. Artax, you're sinking. The Iron Giant. Superman. As his eyes slowly close. This was my son's favorite movie obsession when he was growing up. I have watched it no less than 100 times. Sometimes 2 or 3 times in one night. He's 22 now, but it still has a big place in his heart. Even more in mine, because not only is it a brilliant and emotional movie, but because I feel it every time through my son's young eyes and remembered reactions, and of all of our time together watching it together over the years. It's such a gift. I break down every time. You stay, I go, no following. Superman. And I'm crying. Meet the Robinsons. Gets me every time. I've always wanted to adopt, but we just don't have $30,000 to buy a kid. Those kids just need love, man. I got that to give. Edit. Thanks for the awards. It's my first. Also, I just want to clear up a few things. I did look into fostering before adopting, but the hubby wasn't as on board with it as I was. Mainly because he didn't want to get attached to a kid and then have them ripped away, which I get. It takes a strong person to be able to go through something like that. And I did look into adopting local older kids. I didn't want to adopt a baby. Everyone always goes for the babies. I wanted an older child, and I was told I needed to have close to $30,000 to adopt. I don't know why I was given that number, but that's what it was. I'm currently pregnant with my second, and I would still love to adopt. I'm hoping once the kids are a little older, we can find a way to do this. I love children, and would adopt everyone if I could. But I don't think I will ever have a HIUs big enough for all those children. If you adopt out of the foster system, in the US, it's free. About time. Towards the end of the film always hits a little too deep. I think what got me is that I went in thinking it was just going to be a random nothing sort of movie. His dad's speech at the reception, and then the last time he played ping pong with him, right in the feels. When his dad realized it was their last conversation. I get you. This is it then. It was so sad, and happy, and loving and sweet. He was okay with it. More than that, he was happy his son had a baby on the way. He was just sad, also, that he wouldn't see his son again. And of course Bill Nye made the moment as great as any person could. Moment like that in movies are what movies are all about. They're what life's all about. Subscribe for more fresh content from Reddit.